for this fall semester. I'm really happy to see you here. We have a fantastic schedule planned for this fall 2023 semester. Today we're talking about AI to boost your business. And we have Adam Chapnick here to speak with you.
Let me get to this one here. Okay, got it. Thanks. Okay.
There we go. And so I'm happy you're here. I think we have a few announcements, right, Brenda?
Yes, we do. So thank you, Melissa, for the welcome. We're going to go over what is LEEAF, the program, and how we are partnered with El Camino and your program in entrepreneurship. We're going to go straight into the presentation with Adam. And then a little bit afterwards, we'll do some reminders and closing, just logistical things so that you are aware of the future sessions that are coming up, but also things to expect. You will get the recording afterwards and any relevant information that we went over today. So make sure that if you are signed up and registered, that it is through an email that you check regularly, because we will be sending all relevant information to that email. So we do have the launch Thursdays. Welcome today. You are on the Chat GPT, as Melissa had mentioned. We do have a few more coming up in October and November. So make sure that you put these days on your calendar so that you don't forget. You will be getting reminder emails a week before, 2 days before, and about 2 hours before the session starts. So if you didn't catch the first email, we will try to remind you as often as possible so that you do not miss the sessions. But coming up, we will have sustainable innovation, persuasive pitching, and strategic finances. And can
I just clarify, it's Wednesdays. We'll be here on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Yes, Wednesdays. I apologize, not Thursdays. And I'm going to go through this very quickly. You will have a copy of this presentation, but because of time, it's going to feel like a lot of information. But like I said, you will get a copy of everything. So LEAF is a program through CalState LA that really helps women business owners of color grow within their own businesses, really get the skills, the networks necessary in order to thrive, specifically in LA County. We do have partnerships with Wells Fargo, CalState LA, the Small Business Centers of California, and Found LA. And what we do essentially is we help create a more diverse, equitable, and thriving economic landscape, as I mentioned, specifically for BIPOC women business owners. So we do provide workshops. We do provide a cohort style type of program where we get to build community and also grow together, even if we are at different stages and phases of our small businesses. We want to have a community of innovators, a community of leaders, a community of go-getters, so that ultimately they are able to get capital, whether it's financial and or social capital within their business and business communities, to lead this economic revitalization, but also kind of revolution, because women in small business and entrepreneurship tend to be underrepresented, even though that has changed since COVID, but we still lack the skills. And I say we because I'm also woman of color who just started her small business during COVID. Our program encompasses two different types or two parts. We do have the Business Accelerator, which are for the business leaders. We do call ourselves leaders, but then also provide support through student fellowship. So we have students in CalState LA who are part of the entrepreneurship program there. So if anybody wants or is thinking of transferring to CalState LA, great partnership, you're in the right place. And even if you're thinking of transferring to any other four-year institution, again, you are already, by being here, building those networks. But we provide a community not only within small businesses, but also in their community. And that would entail students who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs themselves or already have their business. And so getting that support where we are pairing business leaders, but then also students who want to and are already business leaders as well. And then very quickly, we do have 3 pillars. This is what really drives our program. We look for economic justice. We provide access to capital, to investing in your business. How do you ask a bank for a loan? How do you write a grant for a grant, etc. We provide business fundamentals. I remember going through the program thinking, what's the difference between a C Corp and an S Corp, and which one is better for me and my future goals and where I see my business going. And then also not only professional empowerment, but personal empowerment, primarily through community building and also just knowledge sharing. Okay, and we have our speaker today, who is Adam Chapnick, and I'm gonna send it back to Melissa.
Thanks, Brenda. So we're pleased to have Adam with us this afternoon. He is a globally recognized serial entrepreneur. That means he has repeatedly turned great ideas into small businesses. He is specifically focused on the tech industry. He is the founder of the Chapnick Group, which guides entrepreneurs from that idea to growth. He is an expert in crowdfunding. He has helped it's a big number, over 200 entrepreneurs with fundraising, pitching their idea, and strategic planning, all through the LA Area Chamber of Commerce. So we're really pleased and privileged to have him join us this afternoon to share his knowledge, his experience with you all. We hope that this is an interactive experience for you, so please participate, ask questions, offer ideas and thoughts, and so that he can help you out if you're thinking of starting a new business, or if it's just something maybe that's a little bit even further off. So welcome, Adam. We're pleased to have you here joining us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Melissa and Brenda. So, okay, so I'm Adam, and I'm used to doing this in person. So this is very different for me to be a tiny little square on your screen and looking at your equally fonted names without your faces. So I'm going to try and urge you, beg you, request to you that you try to take a little risk and engage with the process today. Why? Because this subject that we are talking about today could impact your life about 10 times more than any other subject that you will encounter this week, this month, maybe this year, maybe this decade, maybe your whole life. And then I don't even know if that's an exaggeration. Consider turning on you. I'm looking at the chat, thinking people are talking to me. Yes. Oh, I love it. Adriana, you are brave, and I applaud you. Let's all follow Adriana's lead and show your faces. It's okay if you eat. It's okay if you drink. It's okay if you are lying on your couch. It's all good. So what we're going to talk about today is what kind of everybody feels like they're talking about these days, which is, oh, hey, look at that. So, hey, Brenda, are you going to run that? Did you do that?
I did do that. I wasn't sure, but I wanted to put it up just in case.
Okay, great. Why not? So should we do it that way? We'll do it that way. That seems so luxurious to me. I've never had someone else pushing buttons for me. This is really great. So this whole idea of AI has sort of taken the world by storm. Hi, Karen. I love that you just turned on your camera. Oh, Angel. Yes. Look at this. Everybody's showing their stuff. I love it. That's what we should all be doing, because the more you can step in today, the more that you're going to get out of this. Yes. Here we go. Shannon, let's go. Sienna. Yeah. All right. Here we are. Everybody's showing up. I love it. So it's not required. It's just encouraged. And I understand sometimes, you really can't, but extra points for everyone who shows up on screen. So by a show of hands, or by, oh, Victoria, that's okay. Don't worry. So by show of hands, show of thumbs, something in the chat, how many people only started thinking about AI since March of this year, when OpenAI started talking about Chat GPT? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So kind of, I would almost say me too, except I've been mentoring a couple of AI companies since 2016, but they don't do anything like this. So the big news, and yeah, that's right, Letitia too. So what's been happening is this giant revolution where these incredible technologies that allow software to start to behave like the human brain. That software has been in development maybe more than 10 years, maybe 15 years. But never before did somebody bolt on a little box that lets you talk to it. And that's the chat part. So there's a lot of terminology that suddenly came exploding out in March when OpenAI launched Chat GPT. So let's go to the next slide. And it's going to talk a little bit about all of it. Well, not all, a couple of the terminology things. So this is super high level basic. So you may have heard all these things, AI or ML or LLMs, or obviously GPT, everybody's talking GPT, but these are all abbreviations for very important high level bits of understanding. So AI, if you go to the next slide, that is one we all kind of know what that means. That's artificial intelligence. But do you know what artificial intelligence really is? That's very hard to define. Even the industry can't quite define it. They don't really know what counts as intelligence and what counts as prediction, what counts as remembering, and what counts as reasoning. In fact, if you were to go through and look up the word reasoning, you're going to find a circular definition of reasoning to logic. You look up logic, logic means reasoning, reasoning means logic, and no one really can figure out what it really means ultimately. So what is artificial intelligence? It's kind of what you think and kind of no one knows. Let's go to the next slide. I hope that's super helpful. It's what you think and no one knows. ML, machine learning. Machine learning is how these companies are getting artificial intelligence. It's a process by which a machine or software can achieve what we call intelligence. It learns through training, that's with data and observation, and it draws conclusions after it has adequate data and things that look similar, pattern recognition. So these companies use machine learning to create artificial intelligence. Let's do the next slide. Have you ever heard the term LLM? LLM, now we're getting slightly deeper, but it's pretty popular now. So Chat GPT is an LLM. In fact, well, the GPT part is an LLM. An LLM is a large language model. That just means it's something that has been trained on massive amounts of language, text, and Chat GPT and all the others were trained on mostly what? The internet. God help us all. So you know what kind of a cesspool of misinformation and bias and racism and ridiculous baloney there is all over the internet. Well, that was fed in to all of these LLMs, and that's how they started to create probability understandings, meaning how they could predict what the next letter, word, or phrase would be that someone would say or that someone should say. So really, that's what these things are. Large language models are predictors. They're things that are very, very good at predicting what the next word, phrase, sentence, paragraph, thought should be based on context. So the reason I'm going into that is that it's not exactly the same thing as when you say, or I say, intelligence, right? If you say, you know, is it Carolee? Is that how I say your name? Carolee? Carolee? If I say Carolee's intelligent, that means a whole lot of things to all of us. It doesn't necessarily just mean she's very good at predicting what I want to hear or what the right next word is that people expect. It means a million other things. These things aren't intelligent in any way yet, other than this prediction ability. Now, it's 10,000 times better than yours or mine, so it looks a lot like it's intelligent. And I guess you could define a portion of intelligence as the ability to predict in that way, but that's what they are and also kind of what they aren't. Let's go to the next slide. Everybody knows GPT, but did you know? I mean, most people even that I work with don't know what GPT stands for. Even people like who are deep in AI, they forget. So everybody's like, oh, GPT, 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 Chat GPT, GPT-3, GPT-4. GPT means, it's of course an acronym, it means generative pre-trained transformer. You don't have to know any of that, but why not hear it once so that you'll have a little context, right? Generative means it's able to create something. It generates things. In this case, words. Now, more and more, it can generate more than just words. But let's just say for now, it generates words, thoughts, phrases. Pre-trained means that somebody went to the trouble of loading in a whole bunch of data into these things so that they know what they're trying to predict. So the data happens to be enormous. It's vast and something that's beyond even the comprehension of a normal person like me or you. But it is finite. It's an amount of information that they loaded into this software to show it a million examples of how people talk. When someone says hello, someone else says hello back. When someone says, how are you? They say, fine, thanks, how are you? When someone says, it's raining, someone else says, oh, that's too bad. And it starts to create connections. It starts to create predictive understanding that when someone else, like you or I, types in, hello, how are you? It will say with high degree of certainty that it's going to be relevant and correct. It'll say, fine, how are you? Why? Not because it's fine, but because it's learned that there's a very, very high percentage chance that that's an appropriate response. So that's the same if you can extrapolate that, if you can imagine how that's true for a hello, hi, how are you? It's the same for things that aren't fact-based, like what would be the best anything. It'll have a high degree of certainty of an answer because it's been trained on the entire internet to know this is the likeliest response. Okay, so it's generative and pre-trained, and it's a transformer. That just means it transforms its knowledge into natural language, so it can talk with you and me. Okay, so now that we're all total experts in all of the terminology that is Chat GPT, let's go to the next slide and see what I said because I don't have my thing. Okay, so here's this is this isn't everything, this isn't exhaustive, but it is interesting what's happening now. You may have been hearing about it, but did you know that Chat GPT was started by a company called OpenAI, which started as a nonprofit, and it was supposed to be for the good of all? One of the people who was instrumental in starting OpenAI that built Chat GPT, can anybody tell me who the one person was who was instrumental, who is no longer there and is not happy about it? Anybody know? Anybody? You can raise your hand or you can type it in. That's right. If you were thinking it but not typing it, it's Elon Musk. Elon Musk, as if he didn't have enough to do, thought, you know what? This AI is terrifying. And literally for years, probably for 6-7 years, Elon Musk has been talking publicly about how he's terrified that AI is going to become smarter than we are and become a threat to humanity. So he started OpenAI as a way to combat the inevitable takeover from AI. And it was supposed to be a nonprofit, but they changed. They changed. Do I have that sentiment? We can talk about that in a minute. I have a much more optimistic sentiment, and I will share what that is. That was Angel's question. Do I share the sentiment? So OpenAI started as a nonprofit. It's now for profit. Elon Musk quit. He gave him like, I forget, $30 million to start. He quit. He's not a part of it anymore. They now are for profit and they charge money. They also just raised, drum roll please, $10 billion, that's with a B, dollars in investment from Microsoft. Microsoft invested $10 billion in OpenAI so that why? They could put Chat GPT into, anyone know? There's a hint, there's an arrow on it.
Bing.
Bing, that's correct. Anyone know what Bing even is? Bing is Microsoft's browser. Like Chrome is to Google or Safari is to Apple. Bing is the sad, also ran browser that Microsoft never could get to catch on. So they thought, hey, look, in March, everybody's going crazy over this Chat GPT. In fact, Chat GPT was the fastest app ever to reach 100 million users, ever in the history of mankind. It got there in a couple months, 100 million users. So Microsoft gave him $10 billion for a portion of the company, not for the whole company, a portion, and said, let's integrate it into Bing, and now maybe everybody will use Bing. Who thinks that's worked? You're right. You're all right. It has not worked yet. Maybe it will someday. We'll all say, oh, definitely Bing that. Oh, I don't know the answer to that. Just Bing it. And everyone will go to rushing to Bing to find the answer. Or that will never happen. So you've got a couple other players. Everybody heard of Amazon, I'm sure. Amazon this week, in fact, I think 2 days ago, just announced that they invested $4 billion with a B dollars into a company you've probably never heard of called Anthropic, which makes Claude, which you may also never have heard of. Claude is another ChatGPT. It's a total competitor, does exactly the same thing. It's an LLM, a pre-trained LLM that right now you can go visit and use exactly as you would use ChatGPT. And Amazon said, you know what? Microsoft has ChatGPT now. Google, which we will see right from on the right side, they were the OGs of AI. They've been building AI for over a decade. In fact, they acquired a company called DeepMind in like 2015 for only 640 million. It was a bargain. Any of us could have bought that with the spare 640 million that we had in 2015. But Google beat us to it. And they acquired DeepMind, which is the company whose technology Bard is built on. Bard is Google's ChatGPT competitor. Why does Amazon have Claude if Google has Bard and Microsoft has ChatGPT? Amazon is kind of a different company, right? Microsoft does software and Google does software, but Amazon sells stuff. Why would they want Anthropic? Does anyone have a clue? Any idea? Anyone? You can raise your hand. You can chat it. You can type an idea in the chat, or you can just wait for me to say it, which I'm going to say it. But just think it for a second.
Okay. They want to make money?
Oh, excellent. Definitely true. Victoria with the always correct answer of they want to make money. That's definitely true of Amazon. So, but specifically, can you think of what's missing in the middle if they don't have Claude, Amazon? So does anybody in their kitchen or their family's kitchen or any in their friend's kitchen have an Echo, an Alexa device? You ever seen those? Yeah. So those are basically AI functionalities, but they are not LLMs. They are simple AI that answers simple questions about simple things. And I'm sure if you've ever used one, you've been very frustrated when you ask it a simple thing and it doesn't know what you're saying. And you're like, God darn it, Alexa. And it's like, I'm sorry, I cannot help you with that. Well, imagine now that thing that you talk to in your kitchen or your friend talks to, whatever, people talk to in their kitchen, now can talk in real time with something as smart as an LLM, which is smarter than you or me, conversational, can do all kinds of things. That's what they are anticipating. So as you can see at the bottom, it'll be in Alexa soon. Similarly, Bard will be in Google Assistant soon, which is the direct competitor to Alexa. Microsoft also has home assistants, but they're less concerned with that right now, but you can be sure it'll be in every Microsoft product. Okay, so that's sort of like the out there in the playing field, what's going on with this. And I guess I find that interesting. Of course, it's not going to help you day to day, but sometimes it does help to understand context. So let's remember that word context. Context is an important word. It's a word not everybody knows what it means. Does anyone want to take a stab at saying what context is? Should I call on someone and just freak you out? Be like, oh my God, I'm totally safe in my room and he just called on me? Yeah. Everybody said no. So Sienna, do you have any idea what context is?
Context, well, it's like puts it into like a way you can understand it. That's what I think
Yes,
it does.
that's right. By saying what do you, if I'm going to give you some context, I'm going to tell you something, but I'm going to give you some context. How am I helping you understand?
You're
I
giving
know
me
it's a hard question.
sorry.
Yeah, go.
Sorry. You're giving me something to like reference, like not reference, but to like
Yes.
compare it to. Yeah.
Yes, reference. Yes, facts that relate. That's exactly right. So context helps us understand anything, but without context, these things, these LLMs that we're about to talk about, the Chat GPT, Bard, Claude, they're really lame. With context, they're very powerful. So let's go to the next slide. I actually don't know what's there. Let's find out. I'm sure it's something great. Okay, so what are some things if we wanted to use, now that we know who owns what and where it's going to be available, we know that there's 3 or 4 or whatever of these main guys. What can you do with these things? How many people already use them? In school, at home, doing anything? You ever used them? Anybody? Nobody? Thumb up, down, thumb up, down, none, nobody? Yes, okay, a few people. Adriana, what have you used one for?
Sorry.
That's
So
okay.
at work, I use it in order to be able to provide commands to obtain authorization for insurances
Ooh, wow.
and verify eligibility.
That's very specific. I love it. And is it reliable and good?
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Does anyone else use any of these things for anything already? How many people have never used it? Give me I've never used it. Okay. Some people have used, some none. Okay. Some people have never used it and also used it. That's the beauty of these interactive classes. I love it. So, all right. So let's talk about what can you use it for? Nice, Samantha. I love it. So content creation is probably the most familiar, most powerful thing that it can do right now. It can do things that knock your socks off. And maybe after this, shortly, we will start doing it together just to have fun, because that I find is always the most fun part of this. So it can come up with ideas. It can, let's say, so I'm always talking to businesses, right? Maybe it'll be a startup online. Maybe it's an e-commerce brand. Maybe it's just a mom and pop store. Maybe it's, who knows? But everybody is trying to be on social media right now, right? It's the most popular way to promote what you do. Maybe you're a pop star. Maybe you're an influencer. Maybe you have a fashion brand. Who knows? Whatever it is, you're probably trying to get people's attention on social media. Maybe you're a coach. Maybe you're anything. Who knows? The biggest time suck in most businesses right now is dealing with how I got to write a blog post. I got to write the Instagram post. I got to write the TikTok thing, or I got to shoot the video. I got to post the stuff. And it takes literally 10 hours a week, like easily, just to do that. These things can do 90%, 99% of the work in seconds. And when I say seconds, I mean better than I can do it. And I've been doing it my whole career. They can do it in seconds. So that includes everything, in my opinion, in the marketing sphere. So if any of you guys are studying marketing or like the idea of being, writing and things like that, I see this as a really huge benefit, but you're going to have to learn how to use it, or else you're going to be smoked by anyone else who is using it. Because imagine if I said to you, hey, I need a schedule of social media posts for our sneaker company this month, for the month of October. I want to post something twice a day. Can you make a schedule, of all of our posts? Shannon, would you do that? And would you, I want a nice looking schedule in like a table. It'll have, day by day, what time. I also then want you to write all of the posts. Oh, I also want all of the proper hashtags, all of them. But I want the entire month done by lunchtime. You would be like, oh my God, that's obviously not possible, right? So, but instead, until this year, that would be like, okay, well, I'll get on it and I'll keep you posted for the next few weeks as I get that done for you. But now these things can do it all by lunchtime, like literally by, a minute from now, as long as you get the right prompt. So that's a word that I want everybody to get real comfortable with. Prompt, and we will get into that. But a prompt is the term for what you say to Chat GPT to get it to do stuff. It's not a request. It's not, whatever. It's the term everybody uses, prompt. And when you say, how do you prompt something? How do you prompt one of these things so it has an effective response? There's another term, and that's called prompt engineering. It just means, how do you ask it right? How do you give it good context? Right? As Sienna was saying. That's really all you need to know. So the beauty of this is you get the power of an entire team of employees who are expert at things like strategy and content creation and execution, scripting, all that stuff. And all you have to do is be able to say it in a little box of text. So here we are, content creation. It's ideas, it's execution, and it's infinite modification. This thing never loses its temper, never takes a bathroom break or a lunch break, never gets tired of listening to you. You're always its favorite person, and it will always just keep fixing it until you like what it gives you. Amazing. Let's go to the next slide.
Quick question. Can I ask a question?
Victoria.
Okay, I just want to clarify. You were talking about earlier about Echoes and Alexas and those things. So those aren't Chat GPAs? Those are something else?
Yeah, those are different. An Echo is a device.
Right.
Alexa is the personality that they say that is embodied by what they would call the AI that you talk to, but it's not a Chat GPT. It's much dumber.
Okay.
It's
like
a way earlier version that can't do, even 1% of what Chat GPT could do. But that's going to change in a matter of months.
Right. So how do you access this Chat GPA?
Oh, great question. You can start noodling on it while I'm blathering on at openai.com or I'll do it. We're going to do it together in a second. I'll show you. You'll love it. It's going to be great. It knocks your socks off. Okay, so data analysis. Okay, Victoria, is that good? Well, you watch and you'll see. And then if we still have questions,
I was just trying to figure out what the difference was. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's coming up. The good stuff is coming. Here it comes. Hold on to your hats. So data analysis. Fancy phrase. What does that mean? Data analysis. That just means information that you have. If you're a business person, there's information out in the world. Sometimes you can have the capacity to learn it and know what to do with it. Most of the time, you don't have the time, the energy, the resources, or the know-how to collect the data. That just means information that has, data just means the information, but in this context, it means that's useful to your business. So data-driven insights for business is like, what do I want to do? I have a little bit of money for this upcoming quarter, right, in my business. What should I spend it on? Should I hire another person? Should I buy more material? Should I get a bigger store? Should I refinance my loan? You can ask ChatGPT these things. What you would do, though, that's important that we'll see shortly, and I've started to talk about it, and you guys are going to know this cold by the end of this hour. The first thing you're going to do is give it what? Anyone? What are you going to give it first, do you think, before you do anything?
The right prompt.
The right prompt, which includes the right
reference.
What was it? Angel? Reference. Context. That's right. So you want to give it context. Okay? And what does that mean? What does that mean? We're going to find out. But context is the most important thing. If you think of nothing else for the next month, it's, wow, what's the context here? How can I give context so that this gives me an answer that I want? Okay? So you can literally give ChatGPT or the other guys documents or data like resumes. You can say, look at the resume below. the 2 resumes below and tell me which is a better candidate for the following job description. And it'll say, well, you know, of course, Brenda is the better candidate. She's extremely qualified and has all of the wonderful skill sets. You should hire Brenda. Bob doesn't seem to have as much experience that's relevant to your job requirements. Something a lot of people, even skilled users of Chat GPT, haven't really figured out is that you can have it reference different sets of information. And we'll do that shortly. I'll show you if we can. You can highlight risks and opportunities. Hey, let's say I'm that shoe company. Will you go check out my competitor's website and then look at my website and tell me how could I do better to compete with him? And it will tell you. Have you ever seen such a thing? Amazing. Let's do that soon. Let's do one of those things in a minute. Okay, you can get competitive interest rates, terms. You can scan the news, read the news, look at my website and tell me what I should be worried about. It'll do that. Is that surprising? I think it's pretty gobsmacking. Let's go to the next page and see what we have, if anything, before we get into the good stuff. Anybody know what SEO is? SEO? Anyone? No?
Basically, the relevant terms that make things that you are searching up. It's basically for a business. That their terms in search engines that when people type those in, basically your result pops up.
Right. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. Almost anything you do, probably anything you do in your professional life, it's going to include a website. You're going to have to make a website. And you're going to need that website because you're going to need potential customers to come to that website so that they can become customers. There are several ways to get people to go there. One is by appearing high in the results for search engines, right? If someone Googles something, you want you to be high on the page. You want to be number 1. And the way that you do that is you optimize your website for search engines, search engine optimization. It's a whole cottage industry. How do you write the content on your page? Where should it be? How big should it be? How long should it be? What the titles? What are the meta tags? They're these little things when you make a website. What should it all say? That's stuff you probably don't know about. Even people who know about stuff don't know about that stuff. Well, you can send your trusty friend, Chat GPT, over to your website and be like, hey, will you give me some tips on how I can improve my SEO? Literally just that. And it'll tell you. And then you can do it, and you will have much better SEO optimized site. It's a huge, very powerful use if you're a business owner. It lets you come up with content that is good for search engines. It lets you come up with the keywords that you want to rank for example, in our sneakers, if I'm a sneaker guy, I might want my most coveted search result that I want to come up for might be sneakers in Los Angeles. Buy sneakers in LA. So I will optimize my site according to what ChatGPT tells me to do so that I'd come out first in Google's ranking for sneakers in LA. Probably going to include me having articles about why is it so hard to find sneakers in LA. When I'm looking for sneakers in LA, I always like to have red sneakers. For me, a guy who loves sneakers in LA, it'll do that. It'll tell you all that kind of stuff. But it used to be you had to figure it out, test, try. It can do that for you now. Let's go to the next slide. Those are some great uses. Oh, no, let's go to the next slide. I think I might have sent you the wrong, I think I sent you the wrong version. That's okay. All right, no problem. So let's do a little exercise in the wild of what we're talking about. So let me see. I'm gonna get a little crazy now. I'm gonna share my screen and hope that this works. Who knows if it's gonna work? Let's find out. Here's what I'm gonna do. All right, bear with me. Zoomy zoom says share screen. And here it comes. Maybe, should I do my whole desktop? No, I'm just going to give you the PowerPoint. We're going to go from where we left off. Share. Now we're going totally crazy. So you can see probably my whole everything. You can see my presentation right on the left. Okay, I'm going to let that be, and that's okay, because I feel like it's easier for me to see. So some of the differences, let's look in the middle. Can you see my cursor when we're scrolling around in the middle? Yep, okay, that's great. Look at that. So some of the differences between the different models, they have different modes. Some you can use text, voice, and image. Some have different data capacities, and some let you add on things, okay? So these are changing every single week. It's crazy. It's totally nuts. Every week they announce a new thing. For example, yesterday, the OpenAI guys announced that they're going to start allowing image uploads. So you're going to be able to not just ask it questions, but you can upload a picture. But guess who can already do that? Bard. So here's some comparisons. Now I'm going to move this over here so that it's not as distracting. So only I know what's coming. Okay. So Chat GPT can do certain things. Bard can do certain things. Claude can do certain things. And now there's this guy put in green. Why? Because all of these other three guys in orange cost money to have their real value be able to be realized. It's $20 a month to get Chat GPT Premium, $20 a month to get Claude Premium. Bard is actually free, but Perplexity is this interesting one that uses Chat GPT, but overcomes its #1 drawback. What's its #1 drawback? That it was, remember what's the P stand for in GPT? Does anyone remember? Pre-trained. So Chat GPT was pre-trained on internet data that ended in 2021. So if you search stuff on Chat GPT, the free version, a lot of times it'll say, oh, sorry, as of my cutoff in December 2021, that I don't know anything about that. That must have happened since then. So sorry, can't help you. Now, if you pay $20, you can use a plugin that lets you search the web in real time. But if you don't, you're cut off in 2021. Perplexity uses ChatGPT, but lets you search the web in real time. It's great. So I'm using that as something you guys should all remember. Perplexity, Perplexity, Perplexity. You should use that. That's my recommendation. Bard is cool because it lets you upload an image right now, and we're gonna do it right now, and you're gonna see how cool that is. And Claude is cool if you're really into data, because it lets you upload huge PDFs full of data or words if you want to like have it understand a book or something like that. Claude is great for large data, but not a ton else, honestly. I would say you guys are going to live in the Perplexity and Bard category. That's my recommendation. Let us get to the prompt engineering. If you're going to use it, you want to set the context, as we keep saying, context. And what I like to say is when I first ask it anything, I say, answer as an expert in, and then I say the context of what I'm asking for. Because it doesn't always know the difference between a great answer and a widely viewed answer, right? Like they say, there's a difference between having an opinion and a well-informed opinion. We want the well-informed opinion, right? So you don't want something that everybody says that, some herb will cure a headache if there's no evidence that that's true. You say, answer as an expert in medical cures for headaches. Then it's only going to be considering medical cures. They won't give you weird answers that may also be quote unquote true on the internet, but not true, really true. Then you set the desired format. So I like to say things like, in the simplest terms, tell me blah, blah, blah. Or I like to say, provide a table, which most of them can do, like this little graph. That's awesome a lot of times. Be specific. And then when you get the answer, don't forget, you can ask it more stuff. Ask it. It's like, it looks like, can you flesh out that answer? Can you expand on number 3? Can you tell me more about that? Can you remove number 2 and expand on number 5? That's how you get effective answers. Remember that these things are often wrong. So they do this thing that they call euphemistically hallucinating. And that doesn't mean they're tripping literally. That means that they are prediction engines, as we learned. So they are predicting what kind of you want to hear. And so a lot of times that means they will authoritatively answer with what sounds like a fact. And you're like, wait, you may know that it's not. And you'll go and check, wait a minute, are you sure of that? And I'll say, sorry, thanks for pointing that out. You're right, that is not true. I'll make sure I update that in my database. So you have to have a grain of salt with these things in certain fact-based outputs. And a lot of times what I like to do is ask it to verify anything that if I like need it to be correct, please provide where you got your information. Identify your sources. And then I can go quickly look it up if I'm worried that I want it to be absolutely right. And of course, you can always spot check these things just to make sure, you know, they're on the money. They're getting better at being correct, but they are still often not correct. Things to be aware of when you're using all of these things. There's certain times where it's just important that you don't just always spit out a computer-generated response, and just put some thought into where someone might be offended or whatever if they feel like you're not giving your own personalized answer, or just add it. If you're generating, some content, just read through the thing, copy, paste, put in your own little flavor, and you're good. Also, and this is really important, I don't think enough people talk about this, a lot of these guys are using your prompts and your questions, all of our prompts and questions, as additional data that they use to train their model. So remembering that means don't say things like, I am Adam Chapnick and my social security number is this, this, and this, and I live at and I want to do this thing, and I have, just remember that the data is getting uploaded into a giant mishmash of data that theoretically could get spit out if someone is asking a prompt that may want your data. So, oops, I'm admitting Brenda. So that's something that's important. Okay, let's try some. I said for you, but that's usually because I like to, I'm usually talking to business owners. But let's see if I have to stop the screen share. Now I'm going to try a new screen share. This is the real risk. I'm sharing my own desktop here. What could possibly go wrong, honey? It's fine. It's just a recorded Zoom for the world to see. I'm sure it's fine. Okay, so here we are. This is Perplexity, folks. Perplexity.ai. See that? So there's also, I'm going to move over here, Chat GPT looks like this. They all look similar. See, there's a little text box at the bottom. This is Claude, text box. Bard, text box, enter a prompt. Oops, got it. And back to Perplexity. So you'll notice when you want to put something in, there's a prompt box. It also will have little things that underneath it that give you options, and they're different on each different site. So this one lets you upload a file, and it even tells you can do a text or PDF file, and Perplexity lets you just do 4 a day. I guess I already did one today, so I have 3 left. Why you would upload a file is to give it context, right? So you might say, read this article, and then using that as context, tell me something about it. Chat GPT, up here, you'll see they have 2 different slides. One is 3.5, and that's the regular free one. But if you pay for it for Chat GPT Plus, you can use 4. And if you use 4, there are these things down here. Those are plugins. I've enabled data analysis, and there it is, browse with Bing. See that? Microsoft is shoving it in there. So you can choose every time that you do a query to enable one of those things when you're in Chat GPT 4, but this is something you have to pay 20 bucks for. So I like to demonstrate with it, but I'm going to assume that's not the market that we're in when we're students. So there's 3.5. So, but if you're going to use 3.5, you can use Perplexity, because Perplexity is built on ChatGPT 3.5. Only it lets you upload that file. It also lets you use this thing called Copilot, which is an extra special, really good version that's kind of like using GPT-4, but they only give you a few a day. And if you want more, guess what? You can pay 20 bucks a month. So, but the great thing about Perplexity is I can search the web as it is right now. So Bard, the beauty of Bard is this guy over here, that I can upload an image. So, okay, wait. So what I wanted to do, all right, watch this. So does anybody have a small business with a website? Anybody on the chat? No? Okay. So, let me see if I have to get back to my view here. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to go to someone's business and show how you can generate what I was saying before, which is where we say, oh, you know, I forget who I was picking on, but where, you know, I challenge you to do an entire month's worth of social media in 5 minutes, right? But why don't we do that? Why don't
Can
we
I
say,
give a website?
oh, what's that?
Can I give a website?
Yeah, give me a website. Put it in the chat, would you? So let's see. Oh, Angel, I think that was Angel was talking. So what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay, calmedequipment.com. Got it. Let's do that. Okay. So can you all see as I get a new tab? We're going to go to calmedequipment.com. Okay. So there's a mega sale going on. All right. So we can do a few amazing things. First, we can, let's do the first amazing thing. So I'm going to take a screenshot. So this is it's CalMed. I say calmedequipment.com. Okay, let's say we wanted to highlight one of CalMed Equipment's products and do a post about it. Let's say it's this, whatever the heck this thing is. Okay, so I'm going to do a screenshot. Everybody knows how to do that? Of this thing. Okay, boom, and there it is. So now I'm going to go over to Bard. And I'm going to take that screenshot and I'm going to just drag it right in. You see me do that? There it is, down there. Who's already excited? I am. This is exciting. So I just took a screenshot from CalMed, some product. Now, this is how powerful these things are. I can give it tons of context, but what's my rule? I say, answer as an expert in, let's say, let's just say social media marketing. Create an Instagram post for the thing in the picture. Okay.
Is it a
What's that? It's actually more fun. It doesn't need to know. That's what's more fun about this. For the thing, for the, I'll say the product in the picture. And include all relevant hashtags. Make the tone extremely cheerful and high energy. Okay? That's it. Ready? Let's see what it does. Now, this may be a disaster, but usually it's great. Let's find out. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously. I'd never seen CalMed before. So it's looking at this thing. It's trying to figure out what it is. It's thinking about it. Instagram post for Philips Heart Start FRX AED. I'm sure that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. Is that right? I think it is. And it says image, and it tells you. So that's what you would put in the tag of the image, caption. AED alert. It's the perfect way to save lives, easy to use, affordable, always ready to help. If you're looking for a way to be a hero, it's the perfect choice. And now here are the hashtags. AED, Philips Heart Start, save a life, be a hero, first aid, emergency preparedness, health and wellness, safety. It even tells you how it thought of the tags, relevant to the product and target audience, both general and specific hashtags. Post is designed, it tells you a little bit what it did. So if you like that, you could just copy it, paste it, put it in your Instagram with all the tags. If you want to say, great, you don't have to compliment it. I always talk to it like it's a person. You could say something like, now give me an outline for a TikTok video. Let's say a script. Give me a script for a TikTok video. Using the same product and tone. There you go. Hey guys, it's your boy, Adam. Today I'm talking about something real important, AEDs. It's a script. Sudden cardiac arrest, the leading cause of death. But with the AED, anyone can be a hero. Look at that. Just turn on the camera, let it roll, and I'm a TikTok AED authority. See that? Even at the outro, call to action. Like and share this video, help raise awareness about AEDs. Visit the Philips website to learn more. So obviously, we don't work at the Philips website. This was for the CalMed, but that's an example of what you can do just from a screenshot with nothing. It knows. It figured out what the screenshot was. It figured out how to make a relevant hashtag rich social media post. It could make a script based off that. You can also take it and say, now, go back to the this website here, which is CalMed equipment, and you could have it do other things. We could take the URL and we could go back to Bard, or let's say even let's use a different guy, Chat GPT, and say, oh, I guess that's a bad one because it can't do current search. But let's go to Perplexity and say, visit the following URL and give me 3 top tactics to improve SEO, like we were saying before. And then you put in the URL and you say go. Now it tells you it's searching the web, searching the URL, writing. Oh, he's telling you can't today. That's so funny how sometimes this will happen. But there he goes. That is so odd. See, these kinds of things will happen where he's saying he can't visit, but then he tells you all of the things that are specific to the website as if he did visit. So these kinds of things happen with these things. It gives you the actual answer having visited the web. So this is, it's actually a good example of how they're imperfect and frustrating, but still incredibly powerful. You can also have it do a three like vector instruction where you'd say visit this URL, then let's say the URL is an authority on writing. Then you could say, then look at this sample that you upload, a PDF, and give me critique based on what the expertise in the URL would say. We're not going to do that now. It's 2:04. I want to open for some questions so that I don't just talk all the way through the end. So hopefully you're getting a sense of how there's different LLMs, different what they call AI assistants that can do slightly different things, and how they can be useful to you. Either if you don't have to be a business owner, you could be someone who just really understands this and works for anybody. You'll be much, much, much more effective having the familiarity with the capabilities of these things and putting them to use to look like a superstar. Angel has a hand up.
No, yeah, as a brand manager of CalMed, I really appreciate you going through this. It's actually going to help me a lot with my SEO.
Oh, great. You're the brand manager.
So
at CalMed.
excited.
I love it. So yeah, it will definitely,
Yeah.
it's great. Brand managing also, you can direct it specifically around, you can either try and tease it, where you say, as an exercise, because you're the brand manager, you might say something like, review this site and tell me the tone of the brand. Just because you're interested what it would say, and then you could say, oh, well, understanding or view this site and say, we want the brand tone to be authoritative but helpful. You could get that granular, and it can give you copywriting tips on how to improve the whole site. It'll do like that. And then you can do tons of things like, what kind of content do you recommend to improve our ranking for this keyword? Those kinds of things. It's really cool. Super fast. Any questions about anything? There are no silly questions. Any thoughts? Any comments? Any insights?
Do you think this will put out writers from Hollywood out of work?
Do I think it will put writers out of work? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and Hollywood and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, yesterday they just finished the writer's strike. The WGA, Writers Guild of America, was striking in part because the producers were trying to replace many writers with AI, which, I hate to say it, but AI can replace writers easily. In fact, another weird factoid that happened this week is Amazon imposed a limit on self-publishing authors to how many books they could upload to the site per day. So if you're a self-publishing author, you may only, and I say only, upload 3 books a day to Amazon for sale. So if you think it's not going to affect writers, that says differently, right? That means there are people every day uploading 3 new books for sale. So, I mean, certainly it's going to make it harder to get seen. It's flooding the market with crap, or maybe not crap. Maybe it's good. I mean, it's possible that it's good. So it's definitely a new era. I think what's, like always, with every content innovation, what becomes more important is curation. So, and interestingly, curation was one of the first applications of AI. So you go to Netflix and it's like, here's something you might like. That's AI. That's artificial intelligence drawing conclusions based on your actions and tagging things, saying, here's a movie that seems to be fast-paced, romantic, and set in another time. So therefore, this other movie would be interesting to you because it's drawing that correlation. That's a use of AI. So anyway, I think, yes, it will affect writers. But again, like everything, I think writers are going to start using it to just be more productive. So it's really going to affect consumers of writers' work in a lot of ways because they're going to need curation. Any other thoughts? Questions? Anything that any question we can ask Chat GPT for you? Oh, 2 participants raised hand. Let's see. Adriana, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, so I have a question about data that you upload onto these sites. How secure is it?
Not.
It's not very secure.
So the data, depending on what it is, you should just beware that they can use it to train their model. So what that means is, no one knows what it means because they don't share how they train their model. But what it may mean is that if I ask a question that is granular enough and specific enough and weird enough, it may tell me something personal about you that you shared when you were just asking it something else or uploading data. Like you may have said, here's all my medical bills. Can you tell me if I can get money back from, I don't know, something like that. So it sees like all of your, whatever medical issues you have. And I might then, months from now say, can you list for me anybody who has, and not because I'm being nefarious, just for some reason that I might totally innocently have some need to find people who have, this affliction and that affliction and live in Los Angeles. And it might say, well, at my last training, this person has that, Adriana, and you don't want me to know that, but that could happen. So what I recommend is when I upload data for clients and things, when I'm doing work like that, I always take out their name, the corporate name, and I change it to just company X, and any like identifying proper name. So sometimes they'll have a product that's a brand, I'll take that out too. So that can be a little bit tedious, but it's better.
well worth the work.
Yeah, I think it is. I would hate, for everyone to know, whatever.
Yeah, proprietary information.
Yeah, something I did that divulged a proprietary thing for a client. That would be a big screw up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. So that's that. I hope that was let me stop sharing here. I hope that was useful to everyone. And that you learned a little something, and that now you feel more empowered, and that when you go forth, you will be more valuable to employers and to yourself, and you can save dozens of hours a week in whatever endeavor you choose to apply yourself toward, and you can be like a secret superhero, because even though it seems like everybody knows about this and everybody's using it, nobody is, relatively speaking. It's still super early days. So when you know it, you'll look a lot smarter and a lot better, and you have a competitive advantage for having started to understand this. And the beautiful thing is, it's free, and it, like I said, it is totally patient. You can ask it all the dumb questions you want, and it'll just keep answering you. It's friendly, and you can get to know how it works until you feel comfortable. So I urge you to do it, and I hope you will. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Adam. And then Angel, did you still have a question, or is this from the previous question that you asked?
Previously, he answered it. Thank you.
No problem. All right, so let's get back into the presentation. Again, thank you, Adam, for all of your knowledge. I even learned a lot. I'm used to using Chat GPT all the time, and so learning the other platforms was extremely helpful. I don't think Chat GPT, or I've never tried uploading a picture necessarily, so extremely helpful information.
Yay.
All right, so before you all hop off, I do have a couple more things that I want to cover today before we conclude our session. So you are going to be getting an email from me with the recording of today's session with relevant information. We do have a microsite where you can go on there and you can get even more information and resources for small businesses. But in addition to that, you're also going to get a link where we have a document. It's called Delta Plus. And what Delta Plus is essentially your feedback to see how we and Adam did today, all of the information that you found useful. If you feel like we could have done something better, how can we improve for the next session? It literally takes about like 2 minutes. It's 2 columns where you have your plus column. That's all the positives that you liked about today's session. And then your delta, things that you might want to see next time that you didn't get to see, maybe getting a reminder email earlier or not getting so many reminder emails. Anything to help us improve the experience of you all, we would, you know, obviously take into consideration and take very seriously. So I will be sending over that email, if not by later today, early tomorrow, but you will get all of this information. All right. And then you can stay connected with us via email. You will have access to myself. I will also, once I send that email, you can reply to that email directly. We respond between 24 to 48 business hours. So if you email us during the weekend, just make sure that we are not online during the weekends. And so it is 24 to 48 hours business days. You will have access to our microsite, like I said, with additional resources such as like the small business centers and also just other presentations and materials that, you know, we've had in the past. And then also don't forget to bring a friend. So if you have anybody else that's in the entrepreneurship program or that or is a small business owner that you feel will benefit from these series, please make sure that you share all the information with them, the RSVP links and everything, so that they could sign up and also have access to all of these resources. All right. And this is, our next session is going to be Wednesday, October 11th from 1 to 2:30. You will get your personalized link once you RSVP. It does say next session in 1 week. It's actually in 2 weeks. So don't come next week. It's not going to happen next week. It's going to be in 2 weeks. And that is it. Any questions? I am going to be staying just to see if anybody has anything else they would like to cover. General questions about logistics.